Yo, Big Kish back up in here. This is a good one, y'all. Y'all are not going to want to click off this video. Check this out. This is a full breakdown of when the Rollin 60s Crips forced the wrong rappers to check in. They wasn't having it. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Shout out to Hood War Chronicles. We about to get into this reaction, y'all. Y'all know I don't like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
In the rap game, a lot of crazy things have become the norm, especially with gangs and rappers. One example is checking in, a glorified form of extortion supposedly pushed mainly by the Rollin 60s Crips.
It's been rumors that LA is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah. Wow. Because, everybody be checking in.
But not every rapper is down for that. From Rick Ross standing his ground.
Ain't no checks getting cut. Ain't never no checks getting cut. Well, I don't play those games. Okay. I consider that extortion.
Oh, so is he firing back at Loose Cannon? So he's saying Loose Cannon was cap. I don't know. This look like the young Ross right here though. I don't know which Ross they said gave up 50K for Meek Mill chain and all that. So is that story cap? I don't know. Let's get it.
We don't play like that.
To MC Hammer putting gangsters in their place.
So basically he came with Hammer like, hey man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. I'm saying, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there for 5 of them straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
These are moments when the Rollin 60s.
They said MC Hammer did not play. I heard about that. Matter of fact, we reacted to something with MC Hammer a couple months ago. They said MC Hammer did not play. He was about that. And he was surrounded with people that was about that.
These Crips tried to force the wrong rapper to check in, Big U. So now, one name that comes up in this whole checking in situation is Big U. Recently, he and some members of the Rollin 60s neighborhood Crips got taken in, and one of the wild charges against him is extortion.
Gene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, to further his own criminal enterprise. An enterprise engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human COVID fraud, and other felonies.
Besides being the leader of the Rollin 60s, Big U has been super vocal about rappers needing to check in, publicly saying it multiple times.
But other dudes do got to, and I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just imagine this though, if another crew pull up in you guys' area and they ain't checked in with none of y'all, you gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah. There are even videos of him warning what—
Be quiet, Charlamagne. You gonna let it ride. You talking about some
could happen if they didn't, which has people talking about whether all those robberies—
Oh, Charlamagne's just being agreeable with Big U because he gotta go to LA. That's what that is. Okay, I see what he doing.
assaults, and even deaths of rappers who refused to check in were connected to him.
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in, oh well, check your ass out. We're gonna check you in, all right. We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
For example, there have been rumors that Big U was allegedly behind PNB Rock's murder.
So they killed that.
Now, while not all rappers were extorted by the Rollin 60s, people can't help but say that under Big U, the Rollin Crips were allegedly doing it more than anyone else. Some rappers lost their lives because of this, some barely made it out, and a few actually stood up to these gangs. Let's take a look at them. Starting with Pop Smoke. Back in 2022, Hassan Campbell was on a podcast where he talked about how these extortionists keep tabs on rappers, knowing exactly what hotels, villas, and spots they're staying at.
You got to check in. On the West Coast, they more disciplined than we are. When you step, they know the hotels, the villas, everywhere you go.
According to him, Pop Smoke didn't check in with the right people, which allegedly led to them breaking into his rental home, a situation that unfortunately cost him his life.
Pop Smoke didn't check in, so he got checked out. It's just that simple. They knew he was there.
Rest in peace, Pop.
Hassan also mentioned how much he respected Pop Smoke for not bowing down to anybody. It was just tragic that things ended the way they did.
I guess whatever Pop Smoke was claiming, he wasn't checking in. And I respect him for not checking in. I just hate the way he had to go out, man.
Yeah. Next up is Nas. According to Snoop Dogg, the first time he met Nas was in Gardena, a Crip neighborhood. Snoop was chilling with his crew when a white van suddenly pulled up, and out jumped Nas, dressed head to toe in red.
Yeah, the first time I met Nasty Nas, I was in Gardena.
And that's a Crip neighborhood?
Yeah, shotguns. And I was out there hanging tough with my homeboy. A white van pulls up, and it got like about 15, 16 people in it. And all of a sudden the door opened, boom. Some dude jump out. He got on all red.
Snoop said his people were instantly on alert, guns drawn, but he stopped them, telling them that's Nas.
So the homies is like, they finna draw down on him. I'm like, hold on, cuz, that's the rapper from New York. That's Nasty Nas, cuz.
When Nas walked up to greet him, Snoop gave him some real advice, letting him know that in LA, rocking all red or all blue can get you caught up fast because you never know what neighborhood you might end up in.
And he shake my hand, I'm like, it's a pleasure to meet you, but let me let you know. When you ever in LA, don't ever jump out with no red or no blue on, cause you don't know what neighborhood you in, love one.
This just goes to show that Nas didn't care where he was, let alone about checking in. But according to sources, that decision might have had consequences. Rumor has it his home was later invaded, though thankfully nothing serious happened.
Okay, Nas got his house broken into.
I don't know. They said a lot of them stories Snoop Dogg be saying be cat. They said Snoop Dogg be getting on these podcasts in front of these microphones. That they say he be lying a lot. So I don't know.
2 criminals went to the rear door, broke the glass, and kicked that in.
Next up is Eminem. Back in 2003, Eminem teamed up with the legendary Booyah Tribe on their single in 911. But this wasn't just your average rap collab, it had way more layers to it. For those who might not know, the Booyah Tribe wasn't just a hip-hop group. They were deeply tied to the Samoan gangs of Los Angeles.
Y'all got some gangsters coming this Saturday, man.
What?
And if you're familiar with gang culture, you'd know that the Sons of Samoa are no joke. They might come across as chill and easygoing, but when provoked, they're known to snap, and the consequences can be deadly.
Did you catch this? 100% Samoan. Lift up your shirt, bro. Lift up your shirt. Lift up your shirt. Show your tap. Look at that. Samoan.
Back in 2020, Booyah TRIBE's nephew, Monsta Gunja, revealed that back in the day, his uncles weren't just rappers. They were also working as security for Eminem.
And didn't they do security for Eminem a little bit when M used to come out to the West Coast? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Turns out, Slim Shady was being extorted by the Los Angeles Crips.
He was getting extorted by some Crips.
Who Paul Rosenberg was, or
Eminem was getting extorted by some Crips.
But the Booyah Tribe came through for Eminem. They stepped in, protected him, and in return, got a feature on that track.
A few phone calls were made, and then that's how the feature came about.
This might also explain why Eminem never seemed scared of Suge Knight. Take, for example, the time when 50 Cent was filming the music video for In Da Club. Out of nowhere, someone yelled, "Suge Knight is here." That single sentence threw the entire set into chaos. Suge showed up with about 30 men, reportedly members of a Mexican gang.
This is why I always respected Eminem, 50 that was with us. So Suge came, he had some Mexican. We from New York. You ain't never seen a with a tattoo on his forehead.
Amidst this tension, Eminem was also present at the video shoot. True to form, Eminem did not back down.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, oh, man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real nigga. 50 outside, what's up?
Then there's the story from the 2001 Source Awards. Normally, artists could have their bodyguards nearby at these events, but for some reason, the rules that night required bodyguards to sit separately from the artists.
The way they had it set up, the bodyguards could not sit with their artists. You had to stand off to the side.
According to Eminem's former bodyguard, Big Nas, M ended up surrounded by a group of intimidating guys wearing red shirts, a clear signal they were affiliated with the Bloods.
And M was cut off on his way to his seat, and all these guys in red shirts surrounded him. And I'm looking at M's face, and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like,
Big Nas quickly realized something was off and sprinted across the venue to get to Eminem. He said it was obvious these guys had been sent by Suge.
You see all these guys talking about death row, death row, death row, death row. So by the time I cut in, I step in front of him, I push the guys back. I'm like, yo, what the going on here, man? I was like, death row, what does it got to do with him? He said, hey, man, Suge sent him a message.
However, despite all this tension, it's highly likely that if Suge Knight had ever laid a hand on Eminem, he would have faced serious consequences. Thanks to Eminem's connection to the Samoan gang, a group even Suge was known to tread carefully around.
I was like, what's up? Suge Knight's scared of you. Suge Knight's scared of you. Like, man, I don't give a f***. And then everyone I talked to, they was, man, is Suge really this, really that? I was like,
but
I'm Samoan, man.
People got to understand, it was people out there before Suge. When Suge was a little baby, you had different types of gangs out there and stuff. So people was already established. When we hear about Suge, is what the media say about him. You know what I mean? Even though that he did do his whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it was people out there that's more feared, that people fear more than Suge.
I don't give a I don't care. You King Kong, you Godzilla, you gonna get your ass.
Next up is MC Hammer, and he is no joke. Anyone who's ever crossed him will tell you that firsthand.
That goddamn
told you. Hey, look, they said Hammer didn't play. Now y'all just heard everything I said. Scratch all that. They said Hammer didn't play.
See Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No. MC Hammer was there. Approached me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something. You young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Sure, he had the flashy dance moves, the parachute pants, and a style that didn't exactly scream tough.
Come here, let me talk to you for a second.
Guy. But behind all that, Hammer had real street cred. He was well connected, highly respected, and backed by a crew that didn't play around.
Yo, his entourage was something like I never seen in my life. Like it was literally
100 people.
More than 100 people.
Benito, one of Hammer's vocalists, shared an incident from back in the day. After an event in Los Angeles, Hammer and his crew were packing into their vans to head back to the hotel when they noticed a familiar face rolling up. Michael Concepcion, one of the original founders of the Crips.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins all Crips in LA. So I'm like, that's some gangbangers.
Michael told Hammer they needed to talk. Basically, he offered Hammer protection while he was in LA, warning him that anything could happen in the city.
Like, hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer. Now, the thing is, Mike already knew who Hammer was because they did the video. We were on the same gang before. So basically, he came with Hammer like, hey, man, it's LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You just holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection.
Hammer was taken aback by the whole thing and asked why he'd need protection when he had his own squad of bodyguards. 12 of them, in fact, and these guys weren't your average security detail. Some of them were straight-up killers, so Hammer wasn't feeling like he needed Michael's help.
Just holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. Hammer said, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there, and 4 or 5 of them straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
Michael didn't seem to like Hammer's response and kept pushing, saying Hammer should watch his back.
You need to holler at me, man. If you don't, something could happen to you, whatever. He said, what you trying to say? He said, you need to go ahead and, take care of that and everything will be cool. He said, to start strangling me.
That's when things got heated. Hammer's bodyguards were ready to handle the situation right then and there, but Hammer held them back. Instead, he made it clear to Michael that one phone call from him could shut the whole thing down. Hammer wasn't bluffing either. The next morning, Michael actually came back to apologize, showing just how much respect Hammer commanded.
And Hammer and our people looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey, man, it's like that.
But if the dude already knew Hammer, why would he try him like that? That's my thing.
I'll make one phone call, and all this will go away.
Next up is Snoop Dogg. After he blew up, his own crew, the Long Beach Crips, started feeling some type of way. They thought Snoop wasn't doing enough for them. He kept repping and name-dropping the set, but they claimed he wasn't giving back. One specific incident that really rubbed them the wrong way was brought up by a Crip from Long Beach named Flossie. According to him, one of the homies had opened up a new restaurant in the hood, and it was quickly becoming a popular spot. Since Snoop had the platform and the influence, they reached out, hoping he could invest in the business or at least promote it on his Instagram to help it gain even more traction.
My homeboy Kenneth had a little soul food restaurant, you know what I'm saying? And I was hanging around, and the homies was hanging up there until this was beginning to be the spot.
But instead of supporting, Snoop reportedly brushed them off. Flossie claimed that Snoop acted like they were just looking for a handout, like they were always expecting him to give them money, when that wasn't the case at all.
I'm hearing all this sidebar chatter that Snoop, and I'm reading texts back and forth with Snoop to the homies, and he talking to homies like we peasants or something, like he gonna make the world think always depend on him for money.
Then came the rumors. Word started spreading that Snoop had been straight up banned from his old neighborhood. The story was that he pulled up to Long Beach with 3 or 4 cars full of security, but instead of being welcomed, he was rejected. The gang wasn't showing him any love, and supposedly, they had made it clear that he wasn't one of them anymore. Naturally, this didn't sit right with Snoop. He wasn't about to let people spread stories like that without addressing it. In a video response, he shut down the rumors, saying none of that ever happened. According to him, it was just a bunch of bitter gang members trying to stir up drama because he was focusing on mentoring young talent instead of associating with them.
You 50 years old. You can't get a job, cuz? You mad at me, cuz? Cause I won't help you no more? Cause I can't do nothing to help you no more? Cause I'm focused on helping out the kids, but mad and jealous at me because of what I'm doing? Trying to blemish my name and my character?
A lot of people, especially those from Long Beach, had Snoop's back on this one. They argued that if it wasn't for Snoop, Long Beach wouldn't have the
But yeah, you can't get mad if somebody's being the leader to the children, man. If they being the leader to the children, they taking care of the children, they doing little football teams and all of that stuff, you as a grown man, you can't be mad at that, bro. Like, yeah, where mine's at, bro? Man, listen, man. You need to be out here doing something for the kids too.
Recognition it has today. To them, this whole situation just boiled down to jealousy.
Snoop had been away from the city, but at the same time, he also gave back in many ways. But you know, you always gonna have haters when you popping.
Yeah.
You don't have. I mean, if you don't have haters, you're not popping.
I don't know about these shit, but you know, and he was doing for the youth. He been doing, his football league been around, but people don't look at it like
his football league done got mothers
people,
happy and sons out the hood.
He real for that because he grown himself. He had to work for what he got right now and all that, you know? So for another man to say they ain't give him not no handouts out here, we grown out here too.
Yeah. For him,
so any say Snoop can't go back to the hood and all that, they're a lie, you feel me? Because Snoop got money.
Now, there were some rappers that the gangs did successfully extort, one example being Rick Ross, and it all stemmed from a feud between them. This beef was no joke. The GDs didn't just make threats, they posted death threats against Ross on YouTube, making it very clear they were serious. Things escalated to the point where a hit squad even opened fire on Ross in South Florida. So what exactly did Ross do to get on their bad side? It all goes back to Ross's hit song BMF, where he raps, "I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping work, hallelujah." This line didn't sit well with Kevin Clayton, aka OGKK, a local gangster with deep industry connections. OGKK was the go-to guy for rappers visiting Atlanta and one of the chief enforcers of the hate committee of the GD. He felt disrespected by Ross's lyrics, believing it was inappropriate for Ross to use the name.
But Ross ain't mention his name though. So what's he worried about?
Respected by Ross's lyrics, believing it was inappropriate for Ross to use the name of GD founder Larry Hoover without permission from the gangster disciples.
I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping.
KK reacted harshly to Rick Ross. On October 29th, 2012, he released a video on YouTube threatening Ross and declaring him banned from Georgia.
The service announcement right here, straight to the point. This straight at Rick Ross, the whole Maybach music. Real talk. Hey Rick, straight up, you know what you did first time we gave you a pass on the Larry Hoover Big Meech song. You supposed to took care of some business you didn't take care of. You know who you need to tune in to.
The video from KK went absolutely viral in the hip-hop world, and Rick Ross had no choice but to respond. At that time, Ross happened to be on tour for his new album, God Forgives I Don't. MMG, Maybach Music Group, was dominating the rap scene, with Meek Mill emerging as a...
Man, it take money to go to war, man. Or it take money to do it, to get all them guys together like that. Everybody ain't gonna crawl out the bed if you ain't, you gotta pay those guys. That money, they suck up that money quick.
Star, Wale becoming a top artist, and French Montana dropping back-to-back hits. This was a massive tour, selling out stadiums across the country. Coincidentally, just weeks after KK's video, Rick Ross announced the rest of the MMG tour was canceled. This included tour dates in North Carolina, where the local GDs released a video similar to KK's. As soon as the news broke, everyone assumed Ross was terrified of the GDs, forcing him to respond to the rumors. On December 10th, 2012, Rick Ross addressed everything in a radio station interview. He explained why the tour was canceled and insisted it wasn't because of any threats from the GDs.
I canceled the rest of the tour due to the promoter wasn't really handling his business, you know what I'm saying? He canceled a date of mine. I was going to Tucson, Arizona. Okay. So I just felt like there was some power that I needed to take away from homie, so I canceled the rest of the dates. And never was it due to any threats. You know, I'm a certified man. I am a real boss. So don't never get it twisted. Ricky Rose is a boss. I'm certified worldwide. I could put 1,000 gangsters in any hood. Pull up the footage of me walking out in Chicago on the stage with the chinchilla dragging on the floor. You let me know if that's the swagger of somebody that's in fear. They like.
You let me know.
Ross stood his ground, defending his reputation like a man. But what do you think? Did he cancel the tour because of the GDs, or was it just a coincidence? Before you decide, let's dive into the next incident that might shape your opinion. January 27th, 2013 was Rick Ross's 37th birthday. He headed out to Brickell, Miami to celebrate. After a joyous night, he drove home in his Rolls Royce with a woman named Shataraya at 4:42 a.m. While driving through Fort Lauderdale to his beachfront mansion, a car pulled up beside him. The window rolled down, and shots were fired at Ross's car. Ross punched the gas, speeding down Los Olas Boulevard. After creating some distance, he made a sharp right onto 15th Avenue, losing control of the Rolls Royce and crashing into a nearby apartment building. Fortunately, both Rick Ross and Shataraya were okay. However, this was a terrifying incident for the Teflon Don. The Fort Lauderdale police were concerned and approached Ross for details, but he refused to make any statements. The case remains unsolved, leaving everyone to speculate. Was it the gangster disciples making a point, local Miami beef, or just a random attack? Given the timing, many online speculated it was the GDs. This rumor gained traction when, in a 2016 testimony, an Atlanta GD named Markel White made some shocking statements. He told the courts that after the incident, Rick Ross agreed to pay the GDs $6 million to get off his trail. However, he clarified that the final payment was $3 million from Rick Ross to the Atlanta GDs. He didn't specify who exactly got the money, but we can imagine who it was.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't see nobody paying nobody, $3 million.
But getting back to those who stood their ground against gangs, we have Waka Flocka. Back in 2010...
Oh yeah, Waka Flocka used to always get into it. I'm gonna leave a link in the description so y'all can see this on y'all own. But yeah, Waka Flocka used to get into it with everybody. Everywhere he went, he was getting in the fight. Just like, who else was it? It was Offset. Offset used to always get in the fight. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.